This is the journey to one Africa. Hey everybody, welcome back to SNOA, and this is Mika Chavala. Let's jump right into it. Today I want to talk about 3 countries in Africa that are representation of the unity that we desperately want in Africa. I want to talk about Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. Hey guys, as you're watching this video, our vision is to reach 500,000 subscribers by the month of March. So help us out by reaching that goal. Hit the subscribe button, but also you can join membership to support our channel. You can join Patreon and PayPal. All the links are in the description. Do that to help and to stand with us for this beautiful cause of One Africa right now we do. Also, do not forget to sign up for the petition. The link is down below. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. For the past 24 months, the different kind of coups happened in the western part of Africa, led by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The matter of fact, in Burkina Faso, it actually happened twice. Like there was a military who took over the government, and then another military leader, Ibrahim Traoré, he took over the coup that took over the regime in Burkina Faso. So in this region, part of Western Africa, that was highly influenced by France, for the past 24 months, a lot of coups have been happening in this region. Basically, it has been unstable for so long time because of the influence of France in this area, because of the exploitation of France to the people of Burkina Faso. So you guys have been following us for a while, and we've been covering these countries for so long time. We covered about our African brothers and sisters who were killed in Burkina Faso. They're trying to hold, the military of France so that they may not cross the borders of Burkina Faso to go to another country, and they were killed. They shot right at them, and a lot of people killed. In the country of Mali, for the past 10 years, more than 100,000 people have been killed just because of the coup, because of terrorism attacks, because of a lot of things that have been happening in this region. So eventually, a couple months ago, these 3 leaders, I'm talking about Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. I'm talking about Assimi Goïta of Mali, and also I'm talking about Abderrahmane Tiani, the current president of Niger. All of these guys are military who actually took over the government. And one of them, from Niger, Tiani, he's a little bit older, but in Mali and Burkina Faso, they're actually very young. So for instance, the youngest president in Africa right now is Ibrahim Traoré, from Burkina Faso. He's only 35 years of age, and he reminds me so very much about the long time ago president of Burkina Faso, Thomas Sankara. It reminds me about him because of his moves. He has been in the regime a little bit more than a year, and he has done a lot of things. He has removed the French language as a national language of Burkina Faso. He's trying to train the younger generation. I was here doing live stream talking about how he's actually doing one step at a time to train these young folk of Africa, of Burkina Faso, to become the great leaders of tomorrow. And since he took over the government, there's been attempted coup like 3 different times. They're trying to take him down. But because of the unity of this country, because of the determination of the people of Burkina Faso, because of the determination of the people of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, they actually came together a couple months ago. They formed asylum, and also they declare the independence of all these 3 countries and the unity of all these countries. They say this, that whoever's going to come against us, we're going to go against them together. And they did not do that. Just recently, this last week, these 3 countries, they officially removed themselves from the Ecowas. And I'll tell you the reason why. I think a lot of you might know what's the reason behind for them removing from the Ecowas, but the reason is because when this coup was happening during this time, actually Ecowas, it was highly opposing this thing happening. Last time it happened in Niger, you remember the ex-president of Niger, I think it was Bazoum, if I'm not mistaken. He was actually removed by this guy Tiani. He was removed away from the government because they're like, you know what? We know that you're not working for the benefit of our people. We know that you're a puppet. We know that France is using you, and they're gonna get rid of you because we want to work for our people. So, his own soldier got rid of him. They took him out. and now they're leading the country. But then we also how France responded to that. We also how Ecowas responded to that. So basically Ecowas was siding with France and not with Hawan people. Hawan people. They did not just do that. They actually were sanctioning these countries. They tried to sanction them. You know, they tried to sanction them not to be able to move anywhere, to go anywhere, you know. And even you guys remember even the president of Nigeria, he was actually threatened to cut the electricity. And you can know that Niger and Nigeria, actually, they share one long river. It's actually very neighbor countries. But, you know, they were threatening to do everything. And also they even sanctioned them. So just because the coup took over the government, the negative impact that happened to the country was actually affecting even the ordinary folk. People who had nothing to do with what was going on. But they were doing things as if they're showing them that, you know what? Whatever that you guys are doing can do better than that. And we're gonna do this in order for you guys to return the government. And so what was happening is just the people of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, they were being exploited by their own organization. So here comes the question that Ecowas, are you there to work with us or are you here to work against us? And that is the same exact question that we always ask about African Union. When we see people from Congo moving away from the city of Sake, they're going to Goma. But M23, they're also going to Goma. They're trying to attack another city, capturing another city. When you see things happening in Ethiopia, when you see things happening in Sudan, until right now, the war is still happening. A lot of people have been dying. A lot of Sudanese, more than 6 million people have been misplaced. They migrated to another countries to find a better life, and they left their home. Some of them, a lot of families died. And you know, in these wars, most of the victims are women, children, and men who are actually going to the battle to fight. And you're asking yourself question that African Union, why are you there? Why you're not doing anything to stop this? We know that you are able to stop this. We know that you are able to put it to an end. But why there's no any solid plan to stop gun in Africa? This plan, it was already planned. You know, the year of 2020 was the end of like the end gun. They declare that no gun will happen in Africa by the end of 2020. But that was just something written in the paper because nothing has happened until today. And when you look at the Vision 2063, then you realize that there's no urgency of anything in Africa, but rather these current generation that are actually leading us, politicians, they're not concerned about the next generation. They're only concerned about now, right here, right where they are right now, but they don't think about their kids and the next generation in 20, 30, 100 years to come. And that's what differentiates us and the rest of the world. I once went to Dubai and I saw the vision of 2050. I saw the vision of 3,000 years to come. I saw and I was surprised because I could see this vision written and I could see the videos of how the visionary about their country in the next 1,000 years to come. In Africa, we don't do anything today, yet we write the vision of 2063 while we have ability to do everything right now. So look at how Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali they've done. They came together, formed a Salam, and they removed themselves from Ecowas because right now they're stronger than never before. The good example of good governance in Africa right now, you just gotta look at the west part of Africa, Burkina Faso, and you'll know that, oh, this is the example of good leadership in Africa. And guess what? The leader is only 35 years of age. He's youth. He's young. He's a little bit older than me. Only 4 years older than me. But things that he does for his nation, nobody can stand and oppose. Only Westerners. Only those people who are trying to take him down. And you all know that Burkina Faso people, they cannot try to take him down because they once did a mistake with Thomas Sankara. They removed him and they pay the price until today. They're still paying the price today because they removed one of the greatest leaders of all time in the continent of Africa. They cannot repeat the same mistake twice. So you all know, think for yourself, who is trying to remove these leaders? And that's why it is our duty as Africans to look at the western part of Africa, to learn, and also to join our hands together with them, knowing that we are actually one people, and only with unity we'll be able to stand all these obstacles, all these attempts to undermine and to destroy Africa. Yesterday, I just did reaction of this guy called Eric Prince, the businessman, the owner of one of the company called Blackwater. This guy, he's talking openly, boldly. You know, he's just saying that, you know, it's a time for us to put on our imperialist head and go back to Africa and colonize those countries. It's a time for, literally, these are words that he's talking about. It's a time for us to take over them because they cannot lead themselves. We better lead them. He's talking as if, you know, America, USA, they have a good leadership. They have a crisis of leadership in America. There's nothing going on there. The economy is going down. Everything is not looking good. People are moving away from America. They're coming to Africa. And he's talking about recognizing Africa again. And let me tell you guys, that's not just a talk. That is something that has been happening since the independence of Africa. Kwame Nkrumah, he said, man, neo-colonialism, it happened right after old colonialism ended. That's the plan. The World Bank, the IMF, it was the plan to colonize Africa with the AIDS and with the loan and take over Africa financially. Today, Africa cannot move, cannot stretch herself without the help and support of colonialism. Colonialists. But we can learn from Burkina Faso. These guys, they cancel the language of France as an official language. Mali, they're doing the same thing. And they are promoting Africanism. They are promoting the land of the upright man, Burkina Faso. That's the meaning of the name, man. They are actually, this Ibrahim Traoré, man, he's changing everything in the country. And today we're here, we say that Africa cannot develop without IMF and World Bank to supporting Africa. I say no, because Burkina Faso, they're saying no, and you see it happening. Yes, they're forming alliances with, you know, with Russia. They're actually building the nuclear plant in Burkina Faso. Not only that, man, these guys, they're actually building the industry to manufacture gold by themselves. They don't want to export anywhere. They want it to do in the country. They are right there in the country. If you want anything to be done, come in Africa, do it here. It is the time in Africa, man. Today, if you want to start your own industry in Africa, they will tell you that this is the air pollution. So you better use the industries that is in the US and other part of the world instead of building more industries. Let me tell you this, man. Africa, it is the time for you to stand by yourself. It is time for you to be independent. And you can only be independent by building your own stuff, your own medical facilities, your own industries, your own energy plants, your own nuclear plants. It's the time to do that. Because if Africa cannot do that for herself, somebody else will do it for Africa. And we all know who is truly in control. Right now in Africa, it's sad to say that China is in control in Africa. America is in control in Africa. Russia is still getting influence and access to Africa. If you're enemy of America, you know that you turn to Russia and China and form alliances. But let me tell you this, man. Let us not fool ourselves. Let's copy and paste the movement of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The only solution to Africa is for all the countries to come together, form alliances, strong African Union. If African Union is not working, it's the time to form one Africa right now. Once we form that, we know that Africa shall never be the same again, and nobody will be able to take advantage of Africa. So kudos to these three countries for removing themselves from ECOWAS. And it's my hope and prayer all other countries, man, will think about removing themselves. Because if you have an organization that is not working for you, is working against you, you're no longer needed. We no longer need your service. Yes, you tried your best, but we no longer need you, man. We no longer need you. We want us as youth of Africa, we want the organizations that are going to work for us. Because us as youth, we try our best to do our part, to work for this continent, to develop this continent, to do every single move we can to change this continent. But you cannot stand there in the table of authority and making decision and making it against us and not for us. Africa has awakened. And the old Africa is gone. Behold, the new Africa is right here. More than 60% of population is African youth. And we are determined. And we are ready. And we are convinced that the future of Africa is in our hands. And no matter what is going on, no matter what evil thing is going on in the continent, we'll prepare ourselves as much as we can to take over this Africa. Not violently, not like that, but we'll bring our people together and demand one thing with our one voices. So the leaders of Africa, what are you doing in the offices? Because the biggest crisis in Africa is leadership. What Eric Prince said about Africa, I agree with him 100%. You have leaders who are going to Paris to do shopping. They have their bank accounts outside of the countries. They have their sons and daughters studying outside of the country. And you're asking yourself, if your own children are not studying in the country, you don't have any reason to improve education in your country. Because the only thing you care is about your own family, and you can afford to send them away But what about your country? It is very easy to change Africa. You just need to invest in Africa. Just need to invest in the people of Africa. Because these African men, don't take them for granted. We're smart, we're determined, we are bold. We have been through a lot of traumatic experiences, and we no longer want to go through that. Even our kids to experience that. We want change for Africa. And we can only do that if you guys as leaders stand in your own position. I say this, that the leadership crisis in Africa is the result of the the crisis of manhood in Africa. Let me say this, man. I'm being hard on men because we have a responsibility to provide and to protect for our continent, for our people, from our families, for everything that we have. And if we do not do our job, somebody else will provide for Africa. And you know this, that whoever has money, he's really in charge. Where the money come from? Look at your country, where the loans, aid come from. Whatever it comes from, they're in charge. They're in charge. They're in charge. Africa, I will say this every single day when I come here. The solution to Africa's problem is unity. Unity is the only answer. Yeah, really, one said this, that without unity, there will be no future for Africa. Let me say this, what he said. I wanna say this a little bit more, what he said, because sometimes we do not really understand. He said this nearly. He said this in the speech when he was in Ghana. You know, I believe it was in the month of May. I think it was 1963, if I'm not mistaken. He was there speaking about this. He said this, unity will not make us rich, but it can make it difficult for Africa and the African people to be disregarded and humiliated. Those who receive this privilege, therefore, have a duty to repay the sacrifice that others have made. They are like the man who has been given all the food available in the starving village in order that they might have strength to bring supplies back from a distant place. Remember this, that we want unity, not because it will make us rich, but it will make it very difficult for the rest of the world to disregard Africa, to humiliate Africa, to exploit Africa, because two are better than one, and the bond of two people are not easily broken. And that's what we need in Africa. So maybe perhaps you don't see the importance of unity. Well, turn to the left, look at the West, look at Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger. Look at the revolution that is happening in those countries. I'm telling you, for the next 10 years, those countries will never be the same again. And Africa, it's the time to make it right. It is the time to make it right. And my advice to politicians, the time is up. The time of politics is up. Now it is the time of leadership. We need leaders who are going to step up and make difficult decisions without scared of the West, East, North. But they are only determined and concerned about their own people, their own blood. If you don't want to live for Africa, you're not afford. You cannot be a leader of Africa. Because I don't want to say if you don't want to die for Africa. No, we have and we must live for this continent. So it's my call. Kudos to all these countries for removing themselves from Ecowas. Because if you're a puppet and if you're not working for us, we're not going to wait for you to take us down, but we'll take ourselves down and remove ourselves from the equation. If all of these countries remove themselves from ECOWAS, you have no more job to do. You need to be closed. So we need organizations that can work for our people, for Africans, by Africans, and for the development and benefit of African people. Guys, that's my little message for today. Hey guys, as you're watching this video, our vision is to reach 500,000 subscribers by the month of March. So help us out by reaching that goal. Hit the subscribe button, but also you can join membership to support our channel. You can join Patreon and PayPal. All the links are in the description. Do that to help and to stand with us for this beautiful cause of One Africa right now we do. Also, do not forget to sign up for the petition. The link is down below. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.